One of my all-time favorite hobbies is shooting pool, billiards. Whether it's 9-ball or Boston or whatever it is, I love shooting pool. I've been doing it for a long, long time. And in fact, I got very, very, very good at it. Let me do a little demonstration right now. Chris, can you help me out? Maybe lower that camera down a little bit, brother. Okay, and if you'd hold your hands for me too, both hands face down or facing the floor like that. Perfect, just like actually a little, maybe just sort of right center for the camera. Hopefully that's good. Make 2 fists for me. Okay, great. Now, we're going to assume that those two are sort of like pockets on a pool table. And I want you to raise one a bit, whichever, we're going to use one of them, and I want you to choose whichever one that one, okay. You can get rid of the other one, that's fair. So that's going to be our sort of corner pocket I'm going to try. Now, I brought along some chalk with me. I got some chalk right here. Because I got so good at pool, after a while, I didn't even have to use a pool cue, which is cool, and I didn't even have to use pool balls. I didn't even need a pool table, as crazy as it sounds, because if I get a bit of the chalk, here we go, on the tip of my finger, got some chalk on the tip of the finger. We know from all those, I guess, physics and chemistry classes that this chalk is made up of tiny, tiny particles. Each one of them is perfectly round. So in a sense, I have billions of pool balls right here. And I'm going to try to send some of the pool balls, here we go, just like a professional shot. I'm going to have them not directly at your fist. That's too easy. I'm going to have them bounce. Let's see. The pool, they're going to bounce off the table. Boom, off the table. They headed just off camera there, off that lighting pole, back over, off the tripod, boom, off the other tripod, boom, off the other leg of the tripod, up, and I think maybe inside the corner pocket. Slowly turn your hand over, hold it open, hopefully the camera can see. I'm hoping some of the pool balls, oh yeah, crack shot. If you've been into magic a few years, then you recognize this as the classic ashes through the palm trick. At the same time, if you've been in magic for a few years, frankly, not only should you be watching these videos of mine on YouTube on this beginner channel, but definitely check out InsideDeception.com. It's the world's #1 training site for magicians and mentalists. Now, having said that, this version of the classic ashes through hand is my favorite version I've come up with to date. Long story short, it used to be that you'd be able to get some cigarette ashes out of an ashtray in a restaurant or a bar and have them pass through someone's hands. Super cool trick, shocking, it's just an amazing trick. Do not underestimate the power of this effect on people. However, ashes now, with fewer people smoking, and you can't smoke restaurant and bars, years ago I said there's got to be something else I have to use now. So I started using coffee grinds. As crazy as that sounds, I referred to it as magic dust and this and that, and I had a little container of coffee grounds I'd keep in my pocket. However, ever since I started doing this version, I have never looked back. So you need you need some chalk, and you can, next time you go to a pool hall or swing by a pool hall, and you can say, I'm just looking for some friends, and grab a few of these into your pocket and leave. You can do that. Or go to Walmart, and they stock these too. You can buy 6 or 8 at a pack at a time. But this has got so many virtues to it, the entertainment value, this to that. Now, this is in your pocket, and whenever you want to perform this effect, put your hand inside your pocket, and without making too much of a mess, hopefully, with your hand in your pocket, just get some of the chalk on the tip of your finger. Okay, so I got a bunch of chalk on the tip of my finger there, like that. And when you say to someone, let's try something, kind of a cool thing, I'm going to show you a demonstration of how good a pool player I am, go ahead, hold out your hands. And this is the key. This is the setup. So we'll have Chris here help me out. We just hold your hands for me. And wherever they hold out their hands, even if they do it here, if they hold them out too far out, you take their hands and say, oh, maybe a little closer to yourself. Or if their hands are sort of like this, you say, actually, why don't you hold them over here? You need to have some reason to come over with both hands at the same time, not just one hand. Both hands say, actually, why don't you move these a little over here? You move them to one side, whatever you want. And at that moment, I'm, of course, leaving a bit of the chalk on his palm and say, and you immediately say, actually, make 2 closed fists. So that way, there's no chance of them early turning it over. So you got a situation like this, where someone's got some chalk on his hand, okay? And so now I really want to give the impression that there's I really want to give the impression that they have a random choice of either fist, okay? And that's very important to do. So what I say is, you got your 2 hands, I say, we're going to use one, and I want you to decide, go ahead, raise either. So if they raise one, and that's the one you want to use, say they raise their, in this case, their left hand, they raise their left hand, you of course say, that's great. You can put the other one at, they raise their hand, you say, great, that's the one we'll use. You can lower the other one to your side. Done. If they happen to raise the one you don't want to use, go ahead, raise one. You say, that's great. You can you can get rid of that one, hold it at your side. So it's an equivocate. It's a version of letting them give a sense of a free choice simply by raising one hand. You don't say choose one, pick one. You say, go ahead, just raise one. We'll get rid of it, okay? Boom, simple. So you've done that, you've narrowed it down to this. Of course, the rest is just presentation. Only now do you take this out, like this. And this is where you want a time lapse, because every second that goes by is a second that people will be convinced that you never touched them in the first place, and that's the absolute key, okay? So I take this out and I say, you know, I'm a real good pool player. I'm so good, actually, I don't need a pool stick. I don't even need a pool table or pool balls. People are chuckling, or they think it's silly, or that you've had too much to drink this morning. So you're here, and then you do this, and this, of course, is a nice theatrical image, but it also is what's called destroying the evidence. So now the fact that you have a bit of chalk on your fingertip, it is explained because of this moment, not because of something you did earlier. So you're here like this, and now you can play this up. You can say it's going to bounce off this, bounce off that. You'll boom like this, and then you let that pause, and it said boom, and you can say, oh, I think you might have got a bit in your pocket there, but it didn't stop there, and they can look, and eventually, of course, the person turns over their hand.